Morning Drive, brought to you by Golf Pride.
A very good morning and welcome into Morning Drive on a Tuesday. Anna Whiteley with you alongside Damon, Paige Mackenzie and Robert Damron. Well, just yesterday, golf's governing bodies came together to release a joint statement on their plans for professional tournaments for the remainder of 2020. The PGA Tour is targeting the Charles Schwab Challenge, currently scheduled to begin on May 21st as their first event back in action, and are aiming to conclude the season with the Tour Championship in September. There are still several holes on the PGA Tour schedule that will be filled in the coming weeks as many of the major dates have changed. So the R&A have announced that the 2020 Open has been cancelled, but will still hold the 2021 Open at Royal St. George's. The PGA Championship has moved to August 6th and will still be played at TPC Harding Park, while the US Open moves to September 17th and remains at Winged Foot, which will be followed immediately by the Ryder Cup at Whistling Straits. And finally, Augusta National Golf Club has moved the Masters to begin on November 12th, which will be the first time the event has ever been held outside the months of March and April. So guys, there is a lot to break down here on the decisions that have been made for the remainder of the year. But Damon, what is the key difference that is standing out to you?
You know, and a couple of things really leaped to my mind. I spoke to 2008 Masters champ Trevor Immelman yesterday, and from a strategic standpoint, he said the golf course in November will play differently than it does in April when you have a more southerly wind. In the fall, he expects to be more of a northerly wind. That's the wind they saw back in 2007 when Zach Johnson won. Very difficult conditions, temperatures in the 50s. Hole number 1, for example, 10, 11, 17, 18 playing very, very difficult. So Trevor expected the scores to be a lot higher than they typically are. Not as many birdie and eagle roars, perhaps. But the big thing to me was almost like a collective exhale for the game of golf. If the Masters can adjust and move to November, then we're doing okay, almost from a golf community standpoint. It's such a soulful and spiritual tournament for so many of us that it gave us something to really kind of wrap our arms around, Robert, and look forward to.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see the Masters kind of embracing this change because they're not always the most, let's say, flexible at certain things. So I love seeing this. I think it's going to be great. You mentioned the scoring's going to be tougher. And that's kind of what I'm looking at this year is scoring, and that's scoring at Winged Foot for the U.S. Open. You know, with all these changes going on, I was really glad to see one thing stay the same, and that was the U.S. Open staying at Winged Foot. There was talk of it moving out west, going to maybe Torrey or Pebble Beach, but I wanted to see how this golf course, one of my absolute favorite golf courses of all time. I played my second major championship there, the PGA, at Winged Foot. So I wanted to see how this course holds up against today's game. Remember, 74, Hale Irwin won at 7 over. In 06, Jeff Ogilvy won at 5 over. This is the hardest course in America if it plays hard. And I want to see, Paige, how it holds up to today's Bombers.
You know, the schedule does give us a lot to look forward to. And I think, you know, as a golf fan, that was, you know, the silver lining of everything that's gone on is that we now have a schedule that hopefully will happen and we'll be able to look forward to. But one of the things that has changed so dramatically on this schedule is that season of championships. We've talked about all through January, February, looking forward to the spring, getting the players and all 4 majors in this great condensed schedule. And that has completely evaporated, obviously, with the cancellation of the Players and the Open and moving the Masters and the U.S. Open, as you mentioned, Robert, into next season. So now we sit with 1 major championship for the 2020 season, which I find to be pretty incredible. And it has obvious repercussions for these players having less opportunity. But another thing I'm keeping my eye on is the implications for Ryder Cup. How is this qualifying process going to work? Typically, you get double points in a major championship. Obviously, less opportunity there. And we haven't even talked about the fact that the European Tour hasn't set their sights on a return date yet either. So a lot of question marks still remain on certain parts of the schedule.
A lot of question marks, Paige, but I think when you talk about season of championships, I think my eye is already looking at the 2020-2021 wraparound season. I mean, we're going from a one-time major championship season to what will now be a six-time major championship season, which is just absolutely unheard of. It's a one-off opportunity for any player who gets on a hot streak to just achieve the most unimaginable things in the game. And that's not to mention that we'll be going alongside the Olympics as well as all of the FedEx Cup action. It will be coming thick and fast next year. We'll be feeling the effects of this COVID-19 pandemic for a long time to come. But what a season it is going to be next year. And we absolutely can't wait. But I'm sure there are still so many developments still to come on how the scheduling will all work out. And we will be sure to keep you up to date here on Morning Drive. You can follow us every day on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and follow our YouTube channel at Golf Channel and catch all the latest news this evening at Golf Central.